You know what? I think it's about time I posted another video, because to be completely honest, I like making YouTube videos. I do. It's just, it's really tough when you're going to school and everything's happening and you don't have a lot of time. And yeah, so I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. It's been difficult because I've been going to school. But to be honest, I had a bit of a dilemma because like I love working on cars, but making videos out of that kind of turned it into responsibility rather than a hobby, and that made it kind of difficult. But in all honesty, I like making YouTube videos, and I just got a sudden jolt of motivation to do it, and yeah, I think I'm gonna keep doing this. Because to be honest, I love making YouTube videos. I love interacting with you guys. You guys are the reason why I'm doing this, because it's fun to see other people, you know, reacting to my videos and just, you know, enjoying the videos. So yeah, this is for you guys. Something else that kind of made it difficult to work on my car and film videos of it is that the build is kind of done. Like, at least drivetrain wise. You know, the turbo swap is done. It's finely tuned. It's ready to go, right? And so everything is kind of done. There's a few little things that I want to do, but when you work as an unpaid intern for 6 months, it kind of drains your everything. So there wasn't a lot I could really do to the car. So I was kind of thinking there's not really much to film videos on. You know, there's not much to do. But when you own a DSM, there's always something to do. There's always something broken. And today, we're fixing something that's broken. So you guys are obviously wondering, what are we fixing today? Is it the door handle that finally broke again? Nope, that's not what we're fixing today. Is it the other door handle that also broke? It sometimes doesn't, see, it's opening right now, but sometimes it won't. And I know why. I'm just not really sure how to fix that. We're not fixing that either today. No, today is a much more significant problem because it makes driving difficult. All right, so I've been noticing this issue with my car while I'm driving, and it's weird because it doesn't happen all the time, but it's been getting progressively worse, and like, it's not so much of an issue when I start driving, but it becomes an issue as I drive. So the problems with my clutch. I push in the clutch all the way, right? And it works, right? But it's almost as if it doesn't want to shift. The shifting becomes more difficult as I drive. I have to really, really shove the clutch pedal into the firewall, like really hard for it to really disengage the clutch. And then yesterday, I was coming back home from dropping my sister off or something, and I could not get out of reverse. Thankfully, I was reversing into this garage, right? Because I could not get out of reverse. I pushed the clutch in all the way, like really, really hard, and I could not get it out of reverse. And even with the clutch all the way in, it was still slightly engaged and still reversing. So there's something going on with my clutch. And unfortunately, I'm not super well versed in clutches. I don't know a ton about how to work on transmissions and things like that. So I'm gonna try to do some basic diagnosis. I'm gonna try to like visually figure out what's going on. But I think at the end of the day, what we're gonna do is we're going to adjust the clutch pedal, maybe add some spacers, because when it comes to my clutch pedal, one of the hard things about driving my car is that the clutch engages like right at the end of the clutch, right? So here, let me show you guys. So here's the clutch pedal. I have to push it like all the way and like really, really shove it in there deep to get it to disengage the clutch fully. And the problem is, like, even with it all the way in, it still makes shifting difficult. Like, the shifter doesn't want to move very much. It's very clunky. I've noticed some weird noises with the clutch pedal, but like, I don't know, I just assumed they would go away. I guess that's what happens when you have no money to fix anything. But what I was talking about, the thing with my clutch, where the clutch engages and disengages all the way towards the end here, right? So if I've pushing the clutch, right, it's disengaged. And then as soon as I'm pulling off, it starts engaging. And then usually by about here, it's fully engaged. And then I can just do that. Because the rest of this is nothing. This does not do anything with the clutch. It's not until I get to like right here that things actually start engaging and disengaging. So what I'm thinking is that I can maybe add some spacers in here so that it pulls the clutch out further, and that solves my issue, at least temporarily. So I've mentioned to you guys on this channel multiple times that I'm a complete noob. So don't take this as mechanical advice, because it's not. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do my best, which, to be honest, that's what any of us can do, right? So I basically live on the forums and YouTube, and that's where I get all of my information. This, however, is just me coming up with a quick solution that might fix the problem. Might is the key word there. So first things first, I'm gonna try to visually inspect everything inside of here. Make sure there isn't anything obvious, because if there's something like obviously bad or broken, then I'm gonna have to focus on that. But if everything in here looks good, then we're gonna go check out the clutch pedal, see if everything there is good, and then to be honest, we're probably just gonna slap some spacers on it and call it a day. Okay, so upon further inspection, and by further inspection, I mean me just looking at stuff for about 2 minutes, I found a couple things that don't look quite right, and they kind of support my theory a little bit of what's going on. I also found something inside that might make fixing this pretty nice and easy, which is really nice, but we'll get to that. First things first, you guys see that right there, that little sleeve cover thing? I'm not really sure what to call it. If we go on the other side, if I can show you this. So there's the sleeve right there where the flashlight's at. You can see that it looks like it's too far in there, so I'm gonna mess with it. This right here, that doesn't look right. It looks like this is supposed to be further out, right? Further that way, which kind of supports my theory that like the clutch pedal needs to be adjusted because it's not pulling or pushing this enough, right? There's some play in here that's not really supposed to be there. So let's go look at the clutch pedal. Also, by the way, I put rear seats back in my car because I started giving people rides to like church and things. And yeah, it's nice having rear seats because I could only drive one other person or steal one of my family's cars. But yeah, these are actually some rear seats out of a 3rd gen Eclipse. I wasn't able to find tan, but I found black. And you know what? That looks fantastic because, you know, my dash is black and the rear is black. So I think it looks really, really good. They're actually in really good shape. But anyways. All right, so that right up there is what I'm thinking is our saving grace, because this is the beautiful clutch pedal that is in question. And as you can see, it does the opposite of what I thought it does. I thought that this clutch pedal, in a sense, pulls the cable out, but as you can see, it's actually pushing that thing in. See that? Okay, now check this out. I said check this out, but I'm trying to get the camera over there. Okay, so on the end of that piece, you see that nut? What I'm thinking is that we turn that nut to the right, I think. Either way, I'm going to turn that nut to try to push the little rod out. That way, when we engage the clutch, we're actually pushing it out further, if that makes sense. I think that nut is there on purpose for us to do, you know, adjustments like this. So that's what I'm thinking is going to be needed to be done to fix this. I hope. I guess I'll find out the next time I drive this car, huh? By the way, those of you that are like actual mechanics watching this video, if I'm doing something really wrong, please let me know in like the comments, because I don't want people to like go online and then be like, oh, he's smart because he's on YouTube, and then do what I'm doing and then destroy their car because I don't know what I'm doing and they also don't know what they're doing. So if there's something that you think needs to be said or something that you think needs to be done differently, totally put it into the comments. I would really, really appreciate that. All right, so I was able to loosen that nut, and that actually just kind of like keeps it tight. So what I ended up doing was loosening the nut and then turning the rod out so it came out a little bit, and then tightening it back down again. Now, I'm pretty sure the rod can come completely out. It seemed like it tried to do that a couple times, but yeah, so I adjusted that a bit. It should help, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, so after doing that adjustment, I've got a couple observations. First, my hand is really dirty. Not really sure why. Second, the clutch pedal seems to be lighter. Like, it takes less effort to push it in. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm gonna find out later today when I drive this car. So to be honest, that was a pretty quick fix. Fix. I don't actually know if I fixed it. So I think we're gonna try to fix something else today. So this I can actually fix and verify that it is fixed without like driving the car. So here's my dilemma. Well, okay, let me go outside actually. Very first thing, this door does not always want to open. It works now, right? Now that it's on camera, you know. But sometimes that will not actually open the door, and I've had to break in through my my trunk in public a couple times. It's only slightly embarrassing. So I found out what's going on. There's a mechanism in there that tries to open the door, but there's a lot of play, and so it's not actually pushing the piece down all the way to actually open the door. The other thing that I'm having a problem with is the previous owner broke this, and so it's been held in. These buttons and everything, the switches and stuff, have been held in by these big old screws this whole time. And so when I went in here to try to fix the door previously, I couldn't quite figure out what they were trying to do. And then a couple pieces ended up falling into the door, and it's just a whole thing. Also, there's a screw that's supposed to be right there, but it's not anymore. So yeah, this is what we're gonna try to fix. So yeah. Door is fully disassembled. Let me show you guys what's been going on here. So the previous owners, I guess, had some problems with the interior pieces of the door, and essentially this whole assembly here is held in by 3 big old screws that they just kind of shoved through here. And what happens is those screws go through these little bracket pieces. The hard part is getting these bracket pieces to stay on the ends without trying to fall off. So I'm going to try to reassemble that as one piece and then put it into the door and try to do it that way. That should be a bit of a pain. But when it comes to the door handle not opening up, the problem with that is the mechanism. So this piece back in there, that's the problem. Because when I try to open the door, you see all that play? That's supposed to push that piece down like so that it can open the door. But I don't want all that play. So what I'm thinking is I could maybe get something in there to try to take up that slack so it engages all the way, if that makes sense. Like I said, this door has kind of locked me out a couple times, and so kind of a big deal that I fix this, because I don't want to get the cops called on me because I'm breaking into my own car through the trunk. So yeah, I'm gonna try to fix this, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So here's pretty much the finished project of this piece. You can see it's got the, I guess, the little bracket there that the big screw goes into, and that's how this thing is held on in effect. Some of you are probably rightly wondering, where did that third bracket go? And my friends, that is an excellent question. I have no idea. Well, that's pretty much it. I'm actually really glad at how this turned out. Everything is nice and tight. It was a little sketchy getting this in here in one piece. I don't think it's all supposed to go in at once, but made it work. Nothing broke. A little bit of a crack there, but yeah, all the screws are in place. Everything is solid. Everything there works. The door handle should work better. It's not gonna be perfect, but it does feel better. I totally did not just use a zip tie or anything like that. Okay, I totally did. I totally used a zip tie. I was going to try to use like a little nut and bolt to try to take up some of that slack, try to get it to engage easier. But that was a pain in the patootie, and so I decided to just use a zip tie. And it works. It takes up some of that slack, and it should work. Should be strong enough, hopefully not break or anything like that. But I guess we'll find out, huh? But, you know, I feel really accomplished today. You know, we checked out the clutch. Hopefully made some adjustments that made it work better. It already feels better when I push in the clutch, so that's nice. We also fixed the switches in the door, so those are nice, and then also fixed the door handle so it would actually open, hopefully. Again, a lot of this stuff is untested. I'm not a professional, so don't go out there and start doing this to your cars, because I'm just trying to figure out my way around this car and trying to share that journey with you guys and just have a good time. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe as well. That'd be super, super cool, because someday I'd like to have a McLaren, and then we can goof off and like do funny stuff with McLarens. But yeah, without further ado, I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you next time.